They don't want to give us the visibility that we must have with 5% of the vote, because they know that if they give us more visibility, we will grow faster. And these woke journalists don't want that. But the good news for us, our ideas will be all over the mainstream media in Canada after that election. When Trump will do what he said he will do, and I strongly believe that he will, he's crazy enough to do it, and he will, the mainstream media here in Canada will have to speak about, the radical gender ideology. They will have to speak about no more war in Ukraine. They will have to speak about immigration and stopping the mass immigration in the US. And that's all our ideas. So that will help us to grow faster. And in 2019, they told us, because we were saying that, like you saw in the video, that we wanted a maximum of 150,000 new permanent residents. That was our position at that time in 2019. But the federal government, the Liberals and the Conservatives, didn't do anything about that. So we were right in 2019. We are even more right today. And that's why now we need a moratorium on immigration, because the impact of mass immigration is huge on our society. Not only on the economic side, as you know, the impact for housing and renting an apartment downtown Montreal, Toronto, or Vancouver. Like Randy said, it's very expensive. But as you know, in the economy, there's supply and demand. If we stop the demand, prices will go down. But the impact of mass immigration is more than on our standard of living. It is also our culture, our society, the impact of our society, because all these people who are coming to our country, we are telling them, keep your values, keep your culture, because we have multiculturalism here in Canada, and we are telling them that every culture is equal, and that's not true. They want to come here because our culture is the Western civilization culture. And we know that we believe in individual freedom and personal responsibility. We in the West and here in Canada, we have faith in you. We have faith that you have the ability, the dignity, and the right to make your own decisions and determine your own destiny. That's individual freedom and personal responsibility. That's Western civilization values. So that's why we must repeal the Multiculturalism Act as soon as possible. But when we said that in 2019, we were racist. And I can tell you that I was campaigning downtown Toronto with Muslim candidates, Jewish candidates, candidates from different faiths who believe in this country. And the media, they tried to discredit us in 2019. And I must say that they were successful to do that with the help of the Conservative Party of Canada. As you may remember, the Conservative Party of Canada, that morally and intellectually corrupt political party, like the same conservative here at the provincial level, Randy, you know them also. They spent $160,000 in 2019 to discredit us. And so, but we were able to have 1.6% of the vote. And after that, at the next election, we almost tripled our score to 5%. But at the next election, October 2025, they won't be able to say that we and our candidates are racist. They won't be able to say that because what I was saying in 2019, now in the global mail, the leftist global mail media about mass immigration, they're saying the same thing. So they won't be able because they know that we were right, but they won't print that. But they know what they will do to discredit us. It's what the mainstream media did to Donald Trump, saying that he was Hitler and fascist. That's their new buzzword. They're going to say that to us, that we are, an extreme right-wing political party that is fascist. They want to scare people. That's a lie. That's a big lie. It's why we need to be out there and to tell the truth based on facts, on good policies, fighting the lies. And they are saying that because their only goal is to discredit us. They don't want to have a discussion about our ideas. They know that we will win the debate. We will win the argument. So it's easy to discredit us and saying that, we are fascist like Trump in the US. But, fighting for individual freedom and personal responsibility is the opposite of fascism. Fighting for peace and prosperity is the opposite of fascism. Fighting for a smaller government that will respect individual rights, it's the opposite of fascism. Fighting for, a government that will give more autonomy to Canadians and not try to tell us what we can do or what we cannot do with a big fat government that will interfere in our day-to-day life. That's not fascism. We know who we are, but the challenge that we have, there's still a lot of Canadians who don't know that we exist, who don't know that they have an opportunity to vote for a political party that is doing politics differently. And that's not a slogan. That's the reality. I know what to do to be elected. I just have to tell people what they want to hear today based on focus group and polling. But I won't do that because I know, and you know, that the Canadian population has been manipulated by the leftist media and these establishment politicians. We are there to inform the population, to maybe in some cases to educate the population. We are there to tell them the truth. By doing that, you may not win the first time, maybe not the second time, because we are doing a revolution of ideas. And now, with that wind coming from the south, I'm very enthusiastic. I'm looking at what is happening and what will happen in the US in the next couple of months. That will come to Canada. And our momentum is there. But we need each one of you. And tonight, I want to thank you very much because you are giving money to our writing association here to help us to promote our ideas. And at the same time, you're giving your time. But what is the goal? To have the best ideas and the best solution for the future of our country. If we keep them for ourselves, if we are too scared to speak about it to our friends, to our co-workers, to our family, we need to be out there. When I was arrested, handcuffed, and put in jail after a political meeting, fighting for our freedoms, the policeman asked me if I have something on me that could hurt him. I said no. Only my words, only what I believe in. And we must use our words as our weapons. And we must be able to have a discussion with our family and friends about the future of this country. You know, I will ask you tonight to do one thing before going to bed. Yes, before going to bed. Take a pen and please write 10 names. 10 names. Person and people that you know. And I'm pretty sure that you know at least 10 person. Friends, family, co-workers. Write their name. And say to yourself, before Christmas, I will have a discussion with each one of these people. But I'm asking you also, when you will have that discussion, please, don't start the discussion by saying, if you are starting that tomorrow, by saying, oh, you know what? Yesterday I was at the PPC Gala and I saw Maxime. No, don't start the conversation with that. Because like I said, some people don't know what it is, the PPC. What is that? They don't know that we are a political party. And if they know us, they may think that we are racist or something like that because of the mainstream media. Start the conversation with our ideas. Our ideas are powerful. Start the conversation by asking a question. Always. Ask a question about what is happening right now in the news. For example, what do you think about all these immigrants that are coming to our country? And that person will say, oh, you know, there's a lot of people. We must stop that. Because if you look at the polls, 69% of Canadians, including the immigrants, are saying enough is enough. So start the conversation by asking a question about the situation of our country today. And after that, that person will be more open, and you must say that, you know, there's only one political party in Canada that is fighting to have a moratorium on immigration. Do you know that party? No, that's the People's Party. And after that, you know, you can tell that person, go on the website and read the platform. Always start with the questions and having that discussion with our ideas. And after that, tell that person that we exist and we are there to defend and promote our visions of this country. By doing that, you know, we had about 840,000 people who voted for us at the last election. If each one of you tonight can write the name of 10 person and having a discussion with these people before Christmas, and if all our supporters are doing that across the country, we'll be at 8 million votes. That's grassroots. I cannot do that alone. I need you. And I believe that Canadians need our voice. We can win that battle. That's a nice battle of ideas. And you know, I'm very proud to have candidates. Up to now, we have about 200 candidates all across the country that are ready to run when the next election would be called. Our goal, yes, we can thank them for fighting for us. So, we will have a full slate of candidates before October 2025, and every Canadian will be able to vote in line with their values. Maybe, if you have that discussion, and I hope you will, maybe that person will tell you, oh, you know, Yes, I know Bernier, I know the PPC, but I don't want to split the vote. I don't want to split the vote. And ask them after that, what do you mean? What do you mean by splitting the vote? Oh, I want to get rid of Trudeau. Oh, okay. That's your main goal? You want to get rid of Trudeau? There's a good news there. Trudeau won't be the prime minister in 2025. Just look at the polls and the focus group. We understand that Poilievre is ahead in the polls, and he will be able to maybe win the next election. By saying that, you tell them you can vote for your ideas because it will be a win-win. Look, other Canadians will vote for Poilievre, so now you can vote for what you believe. You can also vote for the future of this country. And if you vote for what you believe, if you vote for what you want, you will have more chances to have what you want. And we will keep Poilievre honest. We will put him in the right direction. We will be sure that Poilievre will govern like a real conservative government. I cannot trust them. I was with them. I was with Harper, and I was elected in 2006. That was great after working 19 years in the private sector. But we didn't have a majority. So the second election in 2008, we didn't have a majority. So we were not able to do bold conservative reforms. But in 2011, we had a majority, a real conservative majority. And I said to myself, oh, okay, now we will be a real conservative government. We will do bold reforms. But it did not happen. Why? Because Harper was looking at the polls and at the focus group, and he wanted to be reelected with a majority. So what is the legacy of Stephen Harper? Nothing. There's no legacy there. So Poilievre will be the same. Poilievre will look at the polls like what he's doing right now, and he won't have any conviction. We need to be there. We need to be there with one seat or no seat or a lot of seats. I don't know. But the good news is, as you know, in the election in 2021, they didn't want me to participate in the national debates because, we were crazy, anti-COVID, and we were speaking for freedom of choice with informed consent. We were the only political party fighting for that with you and a lot of freedom fighters across the country. They didn't want that voice. They decided to cancel me, and they created a new rule. They said for Bernier to be able to participate in the national debate, he will need to have 4% of the vote, but at the election before, we had 1.6%. But you know what? In 2021, we had 5% of the vote. And another good news, my team received a call from the debate commissions, the civil servant who are responsible to organize this debate. And they said, we are calling you to let you know that we won't change our regulation. You needed to have 4%, you had 5%, and yes, your leader will be able to participate in the national debates. That will be fun. I can tell you that will be fun. First, I won't have to take days off to be ready for that debate because, like my wife told me, actually, Catherine is not here tonight, and I wanted her to be here tonight. And I said, Cherie, can you come tonight? We have a gala that would be fun. And she looked at me. She said, Maxime, I know you. I know your speech by heart. You are saying that for the last 6 years. So I won't go there. I may see the video after it. But yes, she's right. She can be here tonight and she can tell you all the things that I just said. She knows everything that I'm saying and she believes in our ideas like me. So I won't have to be ready for that debate. I will ask questions and I will answer questions. That will be a real debate. And I'm looking forward for that. That means that our candidates all across the country will be able to debate in their own writing. So that's important. Because last time, because I was there with these other leaders, they were saying to our candidates, oh, your leader is not there, so you won't be able to participate in the local debates. But they won't be able to say that again. And we'll have candidates all across the country that will be out there and they will promote our ideas and this purple book. If you go on our website, peoplespartyofcanada.ca, you can read our platform. We have 20 policies, always the same one. We are updating our policies every year with new data. But that's the way that we are doing politics. Speaking with passion and conviction, openly, about what we believe. And if an idea is not that popular today, that doesn't mean that that idea is not just and true. And an idea does not become just and true because it is popular. But our ideas will become popular because we will speak about it openly with passion and conviction. That's the way we are doing politics, fighting for ideas, having a real debate. And we think that Canadians are intelligent. We want to appeal to their intelligence. We want to be able to have a discussion with them. You know, in politics, if you want to please people, you tell them what they want to hear today based on polls and focus group. If you want to be elected, you're doing that. But for us, yes, we want to be elected. And yes, we'll have our first candidate elected maybe at the next election. But the most important, we want to inform the population, educate the population about our ideas. And that's why I was very happy to see President Trump elected. That will give us a boost here in Canada. And there's a quiet momentum in Montreal, Toronto, Calgary. I can feel it. People are ready for a big change. And we are there. We are ready. We are a small team, but a strong team, because our values are the right one. We are not afraid to say that this country has been built on the supremacy of God and the rule of law. That is in our Constitution. We are not afraid to say that there's only two sexes. We are not afraid to say we will withdraw from the Paris Accord. And you know what Polyev is saying? Axe the tax, axe the tax. Okay, but the problem is not the tax. Yeah, we don't like taxes, but the problem is the Paris Accord. Because Polyev voted for the Paris Accord, and all his MPs voted for the Paris Accord. So Polyev won't impose a tax, but he will impose more regulations on businesses. It will impose more regulation on us to fight climate change, and it will give subsidies to the green industry. You know, we have a lot of natural resources here. Like President Trump was saying, drill, drill, and drill, baby. Yes, we want to exploit our natural resources, and we will do it. So, if you look at what Polyev is saying about housing, he doesn't have the solution. He thinks that we must build more houses, work on the supply side. But actually, last year we built about 250,000 new houses. Just to meet the demand, we will need to build 700,000 new houses. And it's impossible to do that. So the real solution and the immediate solution to the housing crisis is to look at the demand and to have a moratorium on immigration. Fewer people, fewer houses. So I will end with that. This is our purple book. We will update it before the end of this year. We'll have a new one for last year, because if we read that, our policy on immigration, we are saying in that we want to have a maximum of 150,000 new immigrants a year. That was our position in 2019. But now, because these establishment politicians, they did nothing on immigration. And now it's worse. So we need to have a moratorium. That's our new position, moratorium. And also, we must not be afraid to speak about deportation of the illegals. You know, in the long history of our country, there's only a few Canadians that had the responsibility and the role to fight for what they believe, to fight for a freer country, to fight for our cultural heritage, to fight for our society. And I strongly believe that you are those Canadians. And that's your responsibility. And now is the time to be engaged, to be part of the change, and to be the change. We are making history. And you are making history. I can tell you, together we will rebuild this country, a freer country. We will fight that woke ideology. We will replace diversity by unity. Equity by equality of rights. And what is the third one? Diversity, equity, inclusion. Yes, sorry. Inclusion. We replace that by meritocracy. Meritocracy. No more diversity, equity, and inclusion. Unity, equality of rights, and meritocracy. So that's the way to rebuild our country with strong values. Values based on our Western civilization. Western civilization. Sorry? Yeah. Yeah, our values that are based on our civilization. That's us. That's the PPC. So, thank you. Thank you very much. Stay strong and free. And don't hesitate to write these 10 names on your sheet tonight before going to bed. I need you, and Canadians need us. Thank you.
Don't go too far. I got a gift, and then we call Randy. Hey, should we do an encore? Should we do an encore? Should we do an encore? All right, everybody. All right, I got check. Okay. So before I knock my teeth out here, I've got a special gift. I don't know who's. Oh, that's the other special gift. Hold on. No. This. Okay. So everybody here chipped in and got this for Max. What do you think? What do you think? Is that all right? Is that okay? And the reason why Maxime has picked 67 is it because the year that we were found on European Christian values. And that is what he's going to bring back.
1867.
18, yeah, we don't want to be 1967. They're never going to come. Can I shake your hand? Let's hold this up. I'm learning. I don't do this often. There we go. Okay, we got another guy up here. You hold this, sir. Randy, come on up. I got a special gift for Randy. Everybody here chipped in to get Randy a gift. And guess what? We got Team Randy. He's our goalie. Randy takes a lot of shots, and the puck stops here. Okay? All right, I'm turning it over to Chili, and we got a grand finale. Where's my buddy Chili? All right, so let's give it up for Team PPC. All right, anybody want to get on Team PPC? All right, you can join PPC anytime with Sherelle. Okay, Chaley, take it. You got her.
Hey, everyone. Awesome. So what I want to do now is introduce Max's Army. And I'm going to call each new candidate, new Gen and EDA member to the stage one by one. And I have the list over here. So first up, don't sit down, Michael Bator, Burlington. And there's more people coming. Okay. Jim Butsikakis. Hey, Jim. Etobicoke North. And Pamela Geiger.
Come on up.
Wellington, Halton Hills North.
It's the lovely lady over there. We put her in. She's coming.
She's coming. All right. Okay. And Amir Hart from Thornhill. And Nikita Mahood from Flamborough, Glenbrook, Brant North. Tongue twister. And Dr. David J. Spiker from Hamilton. And Randy Williams from Kitchener South Hespeler. And Bing Wong from Hamilton. And last but not least, who could not be here, is Peter Terrace from Niagara South, and unfortunately unable to attend. So there you are. And of course, JD Meany from Oakville West.
We missed Kevin Dupuis. Hold on.
And Kevin Dupuis. Kitchener-Conestoga.
Jeff Lal. He was Jeff Lal.
Jeff Lull. Brampton East. Hey, Jeff.
What other surprises do we have here? Is there anybody else?
All right, awesome. Nice big round of applause.
We have Renee.
All right, we've got Renee. I don't know what your riding is. What's your riding? Scream loud. Markham Solville. That's your guy. Okay, who else am I missing? Where's that guy, Stephen Mack. Stephen Mack. What are you in, Simcoe? Simcoe North. Sarnia. Brian Ebert. Sarnia. I told you some people drove from far away, okay? All right. Yeah, we got to get mad. Come on, now we get the picture.
We get everybody squeezed in. You're a little bit wide. We get a lot of guys.
Everybody corner park. You get in. Okay, hold on. Move up just a bit. Okay. Come on, squish. Tish and Tish Conlon from Dome. Get in here. I forgot. So that's my fault. Sorry about that. PPC. Woo! PPC. All right, now, here, Chili, where's my buddy? Oh. Okay, so now, the mic keeps turning the mic up. Hey, congratulations. It's all right. Hey, way to go, buddy. Nice job.
All right, folks. Now, if you have any envelopes with donations, please hold them up, and Paul Scheer will come by and pick them up. Or if you know Paul Scheer, then just please reach out to him and provide him with your envelopes. And now we have the auction winner list. And I wish I was an auctioneer, because there's like 30 names on this list. So you have to bear with me. Here we go. JD Meany, Mary Leckas, Pixie Yarp, Jeff Varco, Paul Heck, Michael Penman, Gary Shea, Shirley Kelly, Tara Robinson, Randy Williams, Elsa Boyden, Joanne W., Raman Kohli, Liz Galvin, Baljit Mawa, Jeanette Miller, Andrew Robson, Sandhya Kohli, Roman W., Kathy Halovanich, Rita Lutz, Shannon E., Tish Conlon, Jack Chafin, Linda Fox, Rennie DeVries, Travis Morns, and Donald Trump. And now, finally, it's also time to go to the bar and grab a refreshment. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening. Stay safe.
Donations up for donations. Anybody got a donation? Please get your envelope up in the air. We'll be around to collect it. Thank you. Donations, 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 donation for the nation. Thank you.
All right, folks. I think that's a wrap. This is our first live stream for the gala, as it would be. So I think it all went very well. This is a pretty exciting time to be living through, and lots of wise words, I think, coming out of our speakers tonight. Not just our leader Maxime Bernier, but also Randy Hillier. These are some battle-hardened warriors that I think are providing us with some really good direction in terms of the way forward on this one and how we need to fight this fight. Any thoughts on that there, Callum?
Oh, I agree. Too bad about that DDoS attack we had right in the middle there. But I suppose that's the forces you're up against when you're speaking truth to power.
It would appear so.
So,
I mean,
if you would like to pay for your
some of you folks out there
winnings,
who maybe were on the live there earlier, I'm going to take these guys out so they're not talking over us. But the guys that were on the live here earlier, we did drop out for a little bit. Not really sure what happened. The feed went down, so apologies for that. Entirely possible that it was a DDoS attack. And there were some other things that were going on in the studio here that we didn't really mention either, but it just kind of seemed like our whole setup was kind of messed with.
But a little coincidental that it happens right when Max is going up to speak.
Yeah. I can't help but think so myself. But we're the conspiracy theorists over here, after all. We must be crazy, but Max, I think he's really been braving this storm for a lot of years now, and so he's used to getting called all of the names, and that is essentially all the left really does these days. Is they don't debate anymore; they just call people names, and that's essentially the exact same thing that Mises said about Marx when he refuted him in his day. So I think that's kind of what we're up against here. There's a Marxist cultural revolution underway, and I mean, they're just names, folks, right? Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. So we just forge on and we keep speaking truth to power. And in the end, the truth will prevail. I think it's going to take some time. The ship does appear to be turning, but it doesn't turn on a dime. It's got a lot of inertia. So it's going to be a slow, wide turn, obviously. But I do think that the momentum is shifting in the right direction.
Well, we saw the silent majority rise up in the United States, and I'm sure the same is going to happen here.
Yeah, that was pretty incredible. What a historic election! And one of the things that came out of there were the numbers. I mean, Joe Biden, the most popular president in U.S. history, got about 81 million votes. And then this time around, the Democrats were back down to their usual levels. I think it's about 59 million votes or something like that, right off the top of my head. I'm not sure. But they're the same levels that they've always been. They seem to always get right around those margins. And then all of a sudden it jumped up about another 15 million votes for the Democrats.
Right when they opened the
election.
floodgates of mail-in ballots, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, definitely some shenanigans going on down there.
Yeah, and that was under pandemic conditions. They had the mass mail-in voting, and there was all kinds of suspicious things going on there with the Dominion voting machines in that election as well, and ballot boxes kind of showing up in the middle of the night. I would assume anyway. That seems to be what the videographic evidence would indicate. So Americans, I think, came out en masse to secure the election. The "Stop the Steal" sloganeering really seemed to work, and they had all kinds of people out there that were scrutinizing There were videos going up everywhere. Every time something kind of went a little bit shady, people were screaming about it. Big difference, I think, this time out in terms of the amount of cheating that they were actually able to do.
I think that's what happened. I think they realized that they couldn't do it without being caught. Everyone was watching this time, and it was just too big. It was too big to rig.
Too big to rig, yeah. So I think that's kind of the tack that we need to take here as well. Is it's going to be too big to rig, and we had a live audience with us here for the most part, and I thought I'd just throw to a couple of comments here and see what you guys thought. Tammy is chiming in here saying, we need to get back to paper ballots that are counted by 2 people per box and scrutinized by a separate party. I think that is
100%.
absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we saw a lot of the same kind of shady reports around the BC election there recently. And it does seem to be the case that the left is just going to keep counting until they have a supermajority. Apparently they're still counting ballots and they're still finding ballots. So the whole thing is it stinks to high heaven, right?
It does. So Donald Trump, I believe, has promised to get the United States on pure paper ballots, hand counted. I heard Ramaswamy talking about that on election night. And so that needs to happen. And once that happens down there, then we'll realize that we have to do that up here too, because just more and more relying on Dominion voting machines. I'm pretty sure they were invented in Venezuela as voting theft technology. Like that's where the code comes from.
As is my understanding as well. Like when they were first used was in Venezuela. I don't know that the Venezuelan government actually developed them, but there was some very strong connections there. And look at the state of Venezuela. I mean, they've been eating their zoo animals and pets for years now. Like their currency is effectively toilet paper. And that does seem to be the game that's being run like all over the world. It seems to be that more and more people are aware of this now. I've been talking about this for several years, but China is definitely on the move. She's not a rising superpower anymore. She has risen. And in China, they play Go, whereas we play chess. So here in the West, we tend to be fixated on capturing a key piece, whereas over in China, they play Go, where it's about capturing all of the pieces at the same time, dominating the entire board and making it so your opponent can't even move. And we see a lot of the same strategies, particularly in the West with the weaponized migration. That's a term that I take from a book that was published in 1999 called Unrestricted Warfare. It was some leaked Chinese military documents that got translated back in 1999. And they basically just talk about every greasy underhanded tactic they can possibly deploy with short of a kinetic war and usually with a mind toward going undetected. So I think the weaponized migration is a key feature in what is effectively World War III.
Yeah, exactly. It is. It's a Cold War of sorts.
Not so cold. Like we're really feeling it. I think we're feeling the effects of it anyway. And in the Cold War, the thing is, there wasn't really like a lot of casualties in the Cold War, but in this one, it seems we've already suffered more casualties in all the wars of the 20th century combined. So while it's a silent war and an invisible war, it is still quite deadly.
Agreed.
Yeah. And, it is going to take a lot of people, I think, speaking up about this and a kind of a groundswell of populism, I think, is underway. Linda is here saying, Randy had some great political advice on getting together for breakfast. The small things turn into big things. I tend to agree. I hear that that does work quite often. I know I've been trying to get that going in my home riding here. I'm out here in the Atlantic provinces, so I got my work cut out for me, if you know what I mean. But some events are definitely more successful than others. But like I said, it's a big ship. It's going to take a lot of inertia basically to get that sucker to turn. But we'll just keep at it until we get things going in the right direction.
Yeah, I meet with a freedom community out here on the West Coast, and they have representations in each city, it seems like, and we meet weekly. And so it is great to feel connected to a network of people that think alike, and ideas spread that way for sure.
Yeah, and these I think it's Gad Sad that calls it idea pathogens. And that's something he's been talking about for quite a while. And it does seem to be the case that these bad ideas, like they do spread like wildfire. But you know what else spreads is good ideas. A good idea will spread like wildfire as well. And I think that the appetite is there for it now. It has been growing for a while, but especially with the momentum that the great Donald Trump has built, I couldn't help myself. I just I gotta give a share for this one here, guys. Here is the now famous photograph of Donald Trump just right after being shot, getting up and pumping his fist and saying, "Fight, fight, fight." I got to get that coin. Did you happen to order any of those gold and silver coins that were minted in this image?
Beautiful, just beautiful.
Yeah, a really historic moment.
Even Mark Zuckerberg said that's one of the most badass American things he's ever seen.
I wonder how Zuckerberg voted this time.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, he was saying some pretty interesting things in the lead up to the election. So it would be really interesting to know. He also had a hand in stealing the last election with the suppression of so much on social media, but in particular the Hunter Biden laptops. So we didn't really see that. Like Facebook hasn't quite made its way back into the light just yet. It's still terrible, especially with the legislation that we have here in Canada. But I don't think that there was another story like that, or that the suppression and the censorship was quite as effective as it was last time around. What do you think?
No, it was crazy. And then, you've got the guy talking about how Google was shifting votes, might have shifted 6 million votes Biden's way, because when you've got these undecided voters and you just let them see, these ephemeral events that lean left, then they're going to vote to the left, right? Yeah. They're just going to conform to what they see, what they think everybody else thinks, because that's what they're seeing online. And so you've got that, you've got Twitter, you've got all of big tech basically, and then the mainstream news media. There was just no chance, and suppression of legitimate stories like the Hunter Biden laptop story, and then you have the very bizarre anomaly of double the amount of votes coming in during this very strange time where there's mail-in ballots. You got double the amount of votes coming in for the Democrats, which is just so suspicious when you see the graph. You go, how do you account for that? Makes no sense.
Oh, and they'll just gaslight
as if this election was not more consequential than the last even, and then you have half as many people turning out. Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Somebody was just commenting there that they're going to get out and get a PPC hat. Sorry, guys, I lost my chat there for a second. But there's I just put up the link for the PPC T-shirt, and Alistair was just saying, going to get a PPC cap, wear it in Vancouver, a commercial drive. I think you mean a commercial driver. I don't know any PPC.
No, that's a street.
For that, but the cap will be noticed.
Commercial
Drive
is a street in Vancouver.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah. I'm an Atlantic Coast boy, guys, so I'm not familiar with the geography out there. I did my first trip out to BC just last summer, and it was pretty spectacular. But yeah, you know what? I think you got the right idea there, Alistair. This is what I do now, is I just kind of wear my PPC hat around. And then people kind of say, hey, what's that? It doesn't happen every day or anything, but people notice it. And there are plenty of people that I think, like, there's a silent majority out there that is afraid to say what they really think. And when they see a symbol like this kind of walking around, they're just a little bit more emboldened all the time. So these are the kind of little things that I think we can all do to raise awareness and to, inspire a little courage in some of the other people out there that can see that there's something clearly wrong. So good on you for doing that, brother. Thanks for sharing that with us. And here's an interesting one that I thought I would share with you guys as well. This is another one of these. You wouldn't think that this is the way the election turned out, just looking at the coverage on the mainstream media. But here's leading report on X, and they're saying 64% of Native Americans voted for Trump. I thought he was a big, mean racist. How come all these racist Native Americans are voting for the big, mean racist, I wonder?
Yeah, I think you have record numbers of Black and Latinos voting for Trump as well.
Yeah, and I saw some mainstream coverage on that. I think it might have been MSDNC or one of those televised mental institutions, and they were basically saying like Latinos are racist. They live close to the border. They understand what's happening there, and they came to the United States to escape a lot of this organized crime and just marauding gangs and things like this. And now that's what's happening. It's followed them there. So. It's no surprise to those of us who are paying attention that Latinos would be for Trump. But the left right now is just so out of touch, I think, that, well, I mean, the reckoning is coming. I think that people's psyches are probably breaking right about now. And there's going to be a reckoning.
You see it in the meltdown videos, some hilarious stuff out there. People freaking out after Trump gets elected.
Yeah, those liberal tears, baby. I've been bathing in them, ever since the great Donald got back in there. It's funny because the first time he ran, I was a big supporter and I was right into everything he was doing. And I watched all the debates. I watched everything. And then the second time it was basically, round two, and I did it all again. And I stayed up on election night to watch Florida close, and I saw how big a win he got in Florida. And it was like a bellwether state at the time. It's probably a red state now, but it was a bellwether state at the time. And when I saw how handily he won Florida, I was like, okay, I'm going to bed. This one's in the bag. Western civilization is safe. And I slept like a baby. And then I got up the next day and I checked my phone right away, and it was like, Biden won? Oh, wait a minute. The election's not over? What the heck is going on? And there was this whole fiasco for weeks where they were counting away. So it's
well, did you see the video of the trucks coming in, the convoy of trucks coming into the where they were going to be continuing to count votes all night?
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, no, that was just this election. And so, when they realized that stuff's being live streamed, that stuff's being broadcast and shared everywhere all over Twitter, they realized we can't do this.
Right.
So,
yeah. I think it was Andrew Breitbart who he was talking about Big Brother, and there's a big mean state that's breathing down everybody's necks right now, and Big Brother is watching you. But what we got on our side is we got a whole lot of little brothers with the.
We're watching Big Brother too. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah, we're a whole army of little brothers. So keep those cell phones going there, folks. The cameras and whatnot. And for those of you who are as excited as I am about the election of Donald Trump, here's a good graphic that I like to share quite a bit. That is the thing. That's something that Maxime talks about quite a bit, is the Conservative Party is not really conservative anymore. They're more like opportunistic. So here's the graphic, and we have Donald J. Trump, Maxime Bernier, and Pierre Poilievre at the top, if anybody's just listening. And down the left side here, we have all these different issues: nationalists, against vaccine mandates, against lockdowns, against mass immigration, against funding foreign wars, against Agenda 2030, and against the Paris Climate Accord. Maxime Bernier and Donald J. Trump tick all of those boxes. Pierre Poilievre ticks none of them. I have heard him say some stuff about the WEF. And the carbon tax. He's going after the carbon tax, but he hasn't said anything about like the bigger issues of, say, the Paris Accord for a second. I'd like to hear him say that he's coming out of the Paris Accord. So it always feels like there's this kind of handoff that's taking place. Like, now that we're all sick of Trudeau and he's completely worn out of his welcome, he's going to hand this thing off to the next guy who's going to give us just a little bit of relief. They're going to give us a little bit of a break so that we kind of go, oh yeah, I can breathe a little bit now. And then things are just going to, the overall direction of the ship is just going to continue on its way, instead of turning around and coming back to prosperity. What do you think, Helen?
Yeah, I mean, if that's the case, that he is basically against all of these policies that Trump and Maxime are for, and for these ones that he's against, then he's really no good alternative for Justin Trudeau. It does seem like he does publicly say that he's against the WEF, some of these other things. He came out, but maybe a little bit late, sort of against transgender medicine for children, for minors. And it just, yeah, I don't get the sense from him that he's right on the, right on the right pages that we would want him to be. Maxime obviously is. So Maxime, to me, is the clear answer for who would be the best leader of our country.
Yeah, it's pretty clear to me. I mean, there's one guy with principles, and then there's another one who just kind of climbs in onto whatever bandwagon happens to come along. Maxime made a good point about Bill C4, where he was talking about how the Commons voted unanimously in favor of Bill C4, which would jail any parent who tries to protect their child from gender ideology and the dark path that it leads them down. Of course, we have hundreds of adolescent girls as young as 14 who've already had double mastectomies. Puberty blockers are still legal in Canada, even though the civilized countries like, the UK and Sweden and Norway, a lot of the Nordic countries, they've already banned all this stuff.
More than half of the United States, I think, have backed away from that stuff.
Yeah,
So
that sounds about right.
everywhere except for here.
Yeah, we seem to be way behind the curve on this one. So it's pretty sad to see, but Max has been leading like principally, right? And so, and Pierre, he voted for Bill C4, even after I called him and personally told him all about why he should not vote for that. I was his constituent during my last posting in my military career when I was in Ottawa for 7 years. He was my MP, Ottawa Carleton South. And I mean, he patronized me for about a half an hour and then gave me the answer that he knew before he ever even picked up the phone, and went ahead and voted for it anyway. But then when I and, a group of other great Canadians across the country all came together to organize the 1 Million March for Children last year, the first one, then he came out and told the press, he's like, yeah, I think parents should have the final say. And it's like, well, that's not what you voted for just about a year ago now. It's kind of like you got to make a bandwagon for this guy to climb onto. And that's what I'm really seeing here as an opportunist and not really a principled leader.
For sure. The opposite of Maxime Bernier, who's going on principle from the get-go.
Yeah. And Max is also the only guy who's willing to say something like this. Here he is tweeting out. He says, moratorium and deportation. He's talking about this Commons Committee testimony that just came in on November 7th. Immigration officials confirmed 200,000 new asylum seekers, the most in Canadian history, 70% of them in the last 12 months alone. And I can tell you from watching that as well, they're saying it's going to take 44 months to process these people. So it's like they're bringing them in. We don't know if they're going to be good for the country or not, or if they're a danger. So they're bringing a lot of these people in. It's going to take them it used to take them 12 months to process some of it, but now it's going to take upwards of like 44 months just to process these applications. It's way off the rails. It's insane. So.
Well, Max is right for focusing on that as a very big issue, because I mean, I personally hadn't seen it here in Canada, and now I'm starting to see it on Twitter and things, and it's just we see the damage that it's doing in Europe. We see the damage that it does, and we know that it's part of an agenda to destabilize our societies. That's why our economy is so bad right now. There really is. I mean, they're not working in our best interests, our current government.
No, I don't believe so. And I think Danielle Smith even came out there recently and said that Trudeau is actively working to destroy Canada before the election. So
no question.
Yeah, hold on to your wallets, everybody. Holy smokes. And Tammy is here saying, as a scrutineer, I saw cheating, and when brought to the attention of Elections Canada, were dismissed in an arrogant manner. Of course, we have the receipts. One thing that Trump has talked about, this is something that I actually talked about too. He stole it from my platform, but I did give a presentation there a few months ago when I was talking about disaggregating the federal state. Like, there's no reason, especially this day and age, while all of the federal, effectively, all of the federal bureaucracy, the power is concentrated in Ottawa. That's what you end up with, is you have like a whole city of people who never face any challenges, and they're rich and arrogant, and dismissive. So I think that in order to address that, well, I mean, I was at the trucker convoy and I got arrested. And ever since then, I've been saying not one more federal dollar should ever flow into that city. And that's probably the way to do it, is to disaggregate it and sort of disperse it out to, the different towns and cities, municipalities and everything like this. I mean, we can do all kinds of stuff with virtual meetings and stuff like that these days. There's absolutely no reason to keep all of that power concentrated in the hands of Ottawans. And here is Mount Dennis Wives, and she says, that was fantastic. Thank you. We each have our 10 names. Well, that is fabulous. That is a great strategy, and thank you for taking that to heart. Like I said, it's going to take a lot of effort on the part of a lot of Canadians to really get this ship turned all the way around. So we appreciate you. And Callum, any final thoughts there, brother, before we sign off?
Final thoughts. Let's everybody get momentum behind the PPC. We need the PPC to be the official opposition to the Liberal Party. It's going to take some time, I think, but I think we'll get there. Maxime, he's the same guy he's been. He's got principles, convictions, and I think he's right.
Yeah, 1,000%. And that's why I'm here too. I think I've probably voted for just about, for every other major party throughout the course of my lifetime. And right now, I just can't vote for any of them just on principle. So I'm going with the principal party, and that's Maxime Bernier and the PPC. All right, folks, thanks for joining us. It's been a heck of a night. Listened to some really great speeches from great people. We appreciate you, and hope to see you back here soon.
Thanks, everybody.
This is not just a political party. It is a movement.
Never in our long history have we seen such abuse and violations of our Constitution.
We'll always win! We are Canadians, and we are free Canadians.
Freedom! Freedom will win the day!
Now is the time we will regain our freedom!
I am the son of a policeman. My grandfather was a farmer. I came to Canada for the entrepreneurial possibilities, and I want my kids, my grandkids, and your kids and grandkids to have the same opportunity. And there's a lot of things wrong in Canada, and a lot of people have lost hope also that we can actually improve this. But I believe that the PPC provides the platform to create the change that we need and to provide the hope that we can build the Canada we want.
I've lived my life in the service of my fellow humans. I served 20 years in the Canadian Armed Forces, advancing the interests and values of Canadians, to have the chance that I had growing up here in Canada, and now it's gone.
One of the key issues that matters to me is the radical gender ideology which the PPC addresses. And looking on our platform, as a party, it made a lot of sense that women and children should not be harmed by the laws of the land.
The housing is a big issue. The gender ideology is a disaster. And mass immigration is a big issue of this country that makes life very hard for all Canadians.
I came to Canada in '89. My family was escaped Iran. We came here. We got safe harbor for freedom. I went to school here. I started my business here. And the reason that I'm running is because this is no longer the free country that we immigrated to.